Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. And we begin tonight with a development in the midterm election results. Republican candidate Tiffany Smiley has conceded the U.S. Senate race to incumbent Senator Patty Murray. At last count, Murray held 56.8% of the vote statewide, while Smiley had 43.2%. Both CBS and the AP called this race for Murray last night. This was one of the most anticipated races this election cycle, but it now appears that Senator Murray will begin her sixth term in the U.S. Senate. Also, within the last few hours, District 5 Commissioner here in Spokane County, the candidate Maggie Yates, conceded to incumbent Al French. Since yesterday, French was leading Yates by a small margin, but when another round of ballots dropped tonight, French extended his lead. He is now leading Yates with 51.34% to her 48.47%, which is just about 1,000 votes. So if the numbers hold, French will be Spokane County District number 5's next county commissioner. All right, let's talk weather. It was clear and cold today across the inland Northwest, and temperatures are about to take a plunge tonight. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo joining us with more on what to expect in the coming hours and days ahead. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, you just stepped out in the parking lot, and I felt like you put it pretty bluntly and well, and that was, it's cold outside. And yeah, 24 degrees is cold. You factor in a light wind. That wind is continuing to calm down and will do so overnight. Feels like it's in the teens, and we do drop into the teens overnight. I think we get down to about 18 and then come right back up tomorrow as that sun comes up. We're waking up to a little bit of patchy fog early tomorrow morning with our teen temperatures. It will pop up around parts of the region, so just be ready for it. But as we move through the next couple of days, that cold weather kind of sticks around. Tomorrow, we top out right near freezing. Friday, mid-30s. Saturday, mid to upper 30s, but with less wind, that sun is actually going to start feeling a bit warmer. Oh, and coming up in about 10 minutes, I'll bring you a detailed look at this winter's long-range forecast. That's the one that I've been working on for quite some time. So I'm going to take you outside all over the region, talk what to expect this winter and what it might wind up looking at. I'll have that full breakdown coming up in just a bit.
Sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Looking forward to that. And just into our newsroom tonight, Whitetail Road in Grant County is closed tonight following a deadly crash. Whitetail Road is closed at T Northwest Road. That's according to the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Deputies say they don't know when the road will reopen at this time. They do recommend, though, using State Route 283 and State Route 28 as detours. No other details of the crash are currently known at this hour. We will bring you the latest information just as soon as we learn it. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. Earlier today, Spokane police announced an arrest in a 1982 cold case. This is video from the KREM 2 archives. It dates back to when that murder happened. 62-year-old Tracy Sabrone Pruitt was arrested in Los Angeles on fugitive charges for the 1982 murder of Spokane businessman Archie Rutherford. Pruitt previously spent 27 years in prison for unrelated crimes. Now he awaits possible extradition from California to Washington. Police are looking for a suspect in a downtown Spokane shooting that happened this morning. Spokane police said that one person was shot on East Pacific Avenue and South Pine Street. They have not released a suspect description at this hour, nor have they named that person or have they named the victim. They say they are currently investigating the shooting. Work is underway right now to get people living at that homeless camp off I-90 state-issued IDs and driver's licenses. In the last 5 weeks, the Department of Licensing said they have issued more than 200 state IDs. Having some form of identification allows people to apply for jobs and for housing. The DOL says they can do this for free because of funding from the Department of Commerce and the Empire Health Foundation. And that was your night beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. Well, NOAA released their winter forecast and it looks like more of the same this year with one exception: more moisture and cooler temperatures. So far this year, we have already seen 7 inches of snow, and that is more than we had mid-December last year. So Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo broke down our long-range forecast to explain what we could see across the region.
NOAA released its 2022-2023 winter forecast, and with colder than normal equatorial Pacific sea surface temperatures, that means a La Nina is at play once again. We're talking colder than normal and wetter than normal conditions for much of the Northwest. Feels a bit like deja vu. Yeah, this year's shaping up to be cooler and wetter than normal here across the inland Northwest. But this year, is already looking different. The atmospheric pattern that brings more moisture and cooler temperatures to the region is already present. It's set up quick, but that ridge over the Pacific and the storm track over the Northwest is exactly the pattern that played into some of our biggest snow seasons ever recorded. Unfortunately, the pattern present now doesn't guarantee us a winter of snowy wonder. Yowzers! Woo. Weather patterns change, and just as we saw last year, a small shift in storm track can affect an entire season's storm totals. But last year was different. After a slow start to winter, a southwesterly storm track set up. That meant plenty of warm temperatures and rain down in low elevations, but up in the mountains, steady, beneficial snow. While snow levels were nearly non-existent in valleys, the mountains boasted a jump in snowpack early in the season that got us through a pattern shift that we just couldn't kick. By mid-January, a ridge of high pressure set up overhead. That kept all of the moisture out of the region. Rain and snow were hard to come by. And not until spring did we see that La Nina pattern set up, bringing storm after storm over the region and tons of rain, snow, and cooler temperatures that took us into the start of summer. That pattern is present right now. And if it holds, we are talking a cooler and wetter winter. So with a La Nina forecast, it's likely we wind up somewhere between Camilla and Mark on a stool. I'm doubling down. Last year, we talked about how in Spokane, an average winter boasts about 46 inches of snow, or one Camilla. This year we have Camilla and Lucas, and since they've grown a bit, I'm gonna need you guys to crouch down ever so perfect. Right there. Up to about, one Mark on a stool. Mark, if I could?
Yep.
So this winter, heading into La Nina, we could get anywhere between Camilla and Lucas to a Mark on a stool. A year ago, I stood in central Washington and said a 2 to 3 foot winter wasn't out of the question. That stands headed into this year. In Coeur d'Alene, we talked last year about how an average winter delivers about my eyebrows worth of snow. Now, all of that snow isn't going to be on the ground all at once, and with a La Nina at play, it's likely we get a little more. But with those colder temperatures, that snow will likely be seen more along sidewalks and city streets throughout the year. I'm already dreaming of fresh turns and clean snow all winter long. So for that reason, and the La Nina in place, I'm doubling down. We're talking tons of snow. Might not be one for the record books, but we're at least going to be talking some clean turns in those mountains all winter long. As we head into winter, the Northwest is once again in need of moisture. More than half of the Northwest is facing some sort of drought. So with the La Nina on the horizon, that's good news because it means colder temperatures and more snow, and that snow staying on the ground, not just in low elevations, but up in the mountains where it can be beneficial for much of the dry summer months ahead. So maybe, just maybe, the third time's the charm.
First off, great skiing and Lookout Pass there on the 2 foot section of snow. Good stuff. And secondly, last winter was kind of unique in that we got a lot of snow early on in the season. Then we went 6 weeks without really much moisture at all.
Like nothing.
And then at the very end, we got some more snow. But do you think we'll see that big gap again this year?
You know, earlier you were saying inversion for when it comes to some of those air quality concerns we have right now. That's kind of where we were for that stretch. We had a nice ridge of high pressure just parked in place. The reason we had that is way downstream over Greenland, there was a bit of a blocking high. So that kind of backed everything up and just kept us stuck in that pattern. Now, this year, we don't have any of that. In fact, that region is kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. And for us, what that means is we wind up seeing a more classic a La Nina pattern.
All right. Well, fingers crossed for good snow all winter long. Jeremy,
Yeah.
thank you very much. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. 2 arrests have been made for the death of a man in Peaceful Valley. More details on that case coming up after the break. Plus, we are just 2 days away from the Zags taking on Michigan State on board an aircraft carrier in San Diego. Our Andrew Quinn is in California tonight with a preview of that matchup when we come back in just 90 seconds.